Hi guys, I'm trying to experiment in the kitchen today, cauliflower homemade pizza crust, and I'm going to share this video with you. I'll let you know how it works out. This is my very first time doing it, but I've been wanting to add my own ingredients just so, I go to the store and I see all these cauliflower pizza crust options, and then I turn it over and I look at the ingredients, and there's so many ingredients inside it that it really becomes this low carb, healthy option, and then they're just kind of dumping all these extra calories into it. So I've watched a few videos myself, and I think that I have designed a very simple, easy, fast way to do it in your own kitchen. So I've got some of it prepped here for video purposes, but what I started with is just taking lean, 99% fat-free ground chicken, and I sauteed it. I always have this and beef in my fridge, just for meal prep options, but I've done this today for purposes of the pizza because I'm going to make a chicken vegetable pizza. Now with your pizza, you can add any toppings you want. Mushrooms, you can keep it vegetarian. You could add beef and make a cheeseburger pizza, hot sauce, all different kinds of options. Today, I'm going to use the ground chicken and some vegetables. So I wanted to make this super simple, and I'm not one to spend tons of time in the kitchen cooking, so I cheated with this riced cauliflower that was already cut up for me because I noticed on all the videos you have to take the cauliflower head, put it in the food processor, and I have one, but I'm going to be honest with you, I never really want to clean it out, so I like something a little bit quicker. I microwaved this, followed the directions on it, put it into a glass bowl and let it cool down. After I let it cool down, because this will be a single serving, once it was cool, I put it inside my Ninja. Now you could use a Magic Bullet, or you could use any type of blender. You could use more, obviously, for a little bit more volume if you're feeding a family. This is an individual pizza crust, so I used my Ninja single serve. I put it in here because you want to make the cauliflower into a paste, and now I'm going to put it into this cloth, which I'm not even sure, I don't have a cheesecloth. I will get some, but I'm using this one today, and I'm going to squeeze all the water out of it. So the more water that you squeeze out of it, the quicker it will cook in the oven. So that is one of the purposes of doing that. Now, as I transfer this into the bowl, I read some of the different ingredients, and I saw that many of the options for the pizzas are just loaded with cheese, and you could do something a little bit healthier, like, fat-free Parmesan, or you could do mozzarella, and you can definitely add the cheeses in. I'm not big on dairy myself, so I wanted to learn a way to make it without, let it still allow flavor, and the biggest part to not having the cheese is, will the crust stay stuck together without falling apart when you go to eat it? So I've transferred it into this cloth. I think most of the water is out just because of the type of cauliflower that I chose to use, but look at that. Look at that, tons of water still left in there. So I'm going to squeeze and drain this. Now there are better cloths for this, but today, don't tell my husband, but I'm using the kitchen cloth, and that's just what's going to happen. So I'm going to wring all of the water here. Now I've also got the oven heated up on bake at 450. I saw some for 350, I saw some for 425, just depending on different lengths of time for the cook and what ingredients you have. So again, this is all trial and error for me. There's more water every time I rotate this. All right. 5, 4, OCD, 3, 2, and 1. And then one last squeeze. All right, so I think I've got most of the water out. I'm going to give this a quick dump because I am going to transfer the cauliflower back into this bowl. And without using the cheese, this was the tricky part. Without using the cheese, I wanted to make sure that the crust was going to be able to stay stuck together and that it wouldn't fall apart when I eat it. So I'll transfer the drained cauliflower into this bowl. I'll lose some of it, so this may be a very small individual crust. That's okay. I'm going to have to wash that. So in place of the cheese, I'm going to use 3 eggs. Now typically, if you had the cheese, then you would probably only need 1 egg, but I'm going to use 3 because fat from a yolk is something that I'm not afraid of. I'm not afraid to keep that in my diet. I'm not afraid to have 15 grams of fat or a little bit more at one time. So I'm going to add the eggs, and we're going to see what's happened. So these are 3 organic eggs that I'll be mixing. Maybe I only need 2 because I feel like I lost a lot of my cauliflower. I could do 2 bags next time. That's fine. I'm going to stir this in here. See what happens. I'm also going to add, see now to your cauliflower crust, Cauliflower doesn't have a whole lot of taste, so you can definitely add in your own flavors. Like today I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. I'm going to add some salt, of course. If you guys know me well, you know how much I love salt. A lot of salt. And I'm going to add in some red pepper flakes because I like heat in my pizza. Now, of course, you don't have to add the red pepper flakes. You can add oregano. You can add basil, fresh basil. I'm going to be lazy and add this basil. So a little bit of basil to that mix. And then sometimes I use this. This is Flavor God pizza flavoring. It has a lot of garlic in it, and I'm actually not a garlic fan. So even when I do use that, I use it rarely. I talk to a lot of people in a day, so I like to be on top of not garlic breath. All right, so I'm stirring this up here. It would probably be a little bit better if I used a whisk, but like I said, I am not extremely kitchen savvy. I just do what works and I do what's fast. I'm an extremely busy person. I don't have time to make tons of stuff in the kitchen, but I definitely make time to feed myself well with real ingredients. So this is maybe a little bit smushier, I think, coming from the eggs than I wanted it to be, but no big deal. Okay, so maybe a little bit runny. Maybe I could have stuck with one egg, or another example would be try to get some more cauliflower out of this cup to thicken it up just a touch. And as I'm doing this, and this is how I work in the kitchen too, you guys. Like there's no secret to my cooking at all. I just try things, and if they work, I make them again. And if they don't work, I don't make them again. So I'm not a super talented person in the kitchen as well. But I've got, now I bought this actually for, I think I was making a London broil in the crock pot last week. And I wanted to make a little bit of the gravy with the bone broth, the beef bone broth, but I didn't have any cornstarch. So last time I was at Trader Joe's, I picked up some of this. Now, I know this, I've never really cooked with cornstarch, but I believe this like thickens things a little bit. So, on a whim, I'm going to add some. I have no idea what that's going to do, but we'll find out. So I'm going to stir that in. Maybe that'll help thicken this or stir in this. And worst case scenario, I've got an extra bag of cauliflower in the freezer if I need to add. So there's that. Now I really don't think this is supposed to look like, I know it's supposed to look like mashed potatoes, but I don't think it's supposed to be this runny, but I'm going to give it a shot anyways. So I took this baking pan here, and you can use a cookie sheet, anything that's flat. I put parchment paper on it. I definitely added some Pam to it so the crust wouldn't stick. So now I'm just going to transfer this on here. This is going to be easy because it's going to kind of fall right out. The good news is that even if this doesn't turn out looking like a pizza, it's still going to taste good. So, like I said, we'll find out. Now, the thinner you spread this, the faster it will cook. I think I'm supposed to be kneading this because I think this is completely the wrong texture, but why wouldn't it cook the same? I don't know. We'll find out. Thin, cauliflower, red pepper flakes, 2 eggs. Now that's supposed to be what makes it stick together instead of the cheese, but we're going to see here. So there's that. I'm going to put this in the oven for maybe about 35 minutes or so, and I'm just going to keep checking it to see if the crust browns or when it becomes crispy, and then I'll take it out and put the toppings on from there. Okay guys, so I just put it in the oven. I left it for about 35 minutes. I checked it a billion times. I didn't want to overdo it. But check this out. I think it worked. So this is really crispy on the edges. It stayed together. And I took it out after I thought it was ready, and I left the oven right where it was at. Now I've added my own toppings, which obviously you can switch this out to anything you like. I used a sugar-free barbecue sauce. I got this off Amazon. It's hickory flavor. Maple is also really good. This is phenomenal. You can make a barbecue chicken pizza. I use this on my chicken, shredded chicken, all the time. It's G Hughes, if you can see this. So there's that. I added in that, and just a thin layer. Then I cut up and chopped up a tomato medley instead of using like a pizza sauce and keeping it, again, low in sugar. Then if you saw one of my last videos of some of my favorite things in the kitchen, I like this kale beet blend, and this is all about just saving the time of not chopping veggies, so it's very convenient. I sprinkled a little bit of this on top, and then I took some of my ground chicken that was already sauteed and added it to the pizza. Now, I only made a really thin layer because I don't want it to weigh down the pizza. Now, if you wanted to, you could add some feta cheese, you could add some mozzarella on top of this. I'm going to stick this back into the oven just for about 4 or 5 minutes, just until this heats up and the veggies kind of soften, and I think we have a winner. I think this is going to be amazing. I'm super excited about it. Okay, so I'm about to take this pizza out of the oven. I put it back in there just for about 4 or 5 minutes until the toppings were nice and heated, and if you have cheese to melt on top, obviously that. Really quick before I do that, I used the barbecue sauce to kind of make it more of a barbecue, sugar-free, low-calorie, and there are definitely other options. I've used no salt tomato paste and kind of done my own little seasonings in there, like oregano and basil, to make it a little bit more Italian, like pizza sauce. You can use normal pizza sauce, any flavor, of course. Especially if you have kids, they'll probably love that, and kind of add your own toppings. So roasted red peppers, you could do, like I said, a cheeseburger pizza, any kind of pizza that you like. Another one that I've made in the past with my crock pot shredded chicken was I used the Red's Frank hot sauce. So that would be the base layer, or like the pizza sauce, and then I added red onion, shredded chicken on top of that, and mozzarella cheese, and that's also a really good option. So this is my, doesn't this look fabulous? I cannot wait to eat it. This is my homemade pizza crust, cauliflower. I'm going to slide it onto this plate here. Literally. I am going to let this cool, cut it into little 4 slices, and enjoy this. So you guys, it worked. This is a nice crispy ledge here. Probably would taste really good with some Parmesan cheese if you wanted to add it, and any other toppings that you like. So homemade cauliflower crust, and it was really simple. I just got the freezer cauliflower and the already chopped vegetables. I had chicken that was already made, and once you have all of the prep ingredients in your house, this can be done in less than 30 minutes. So maybe you can make your own little individual pizzas and include your kids on a little pizza night. I hope this helps some of you guys out there. If you have any comments or suggestions or any type of videos you'd like me to try to cover in the kitchen or talk about, go ahead and drop them in the comment box below. And you guys, happy pizza eating.